your kid will be in college during the 2024-2025 academic year, you will need to fill out a redesigned pre-application for Federal Student Aid, also known as the FAFSA. And did you know that the new redesigned 2024-2025 FAFSA form will have a greater impact on divorced parents, undocumented parents, and those with multiple kids in school? If not, watch this video until the end to learn more. Hello everyone, and welcome back to IminiWealthTV, your go-to channel for all things finance, savings, and wealth building. I am lolaowokoniran, your guide on this journey to financial empowerment. Thank you for joining me today. In today's video, I'll be talking about the new FAFSA application and what parents of college students need to know. What is FAFSA? What is FAFSA? For those of us that are not familiar with this term, FAFSA is also known as a free application for federal student aid. It is the form that the federal government, states, colleges, and other organizations use to award financial aid to college students. Submitting it is your key to accessing grants, scholarships, work-study programs, and federal student loans as well. Completing the FAFSA is the first step for anyone making college plans. You have to submit the FAFSA each year you are in college. And heads up, the new redesigned FAFSA has been launched today, December 27th, as a soft launch. It is considered a soft launch because this new form will be available to students and families periodically while they test for functionality, site performance during the planned process for maintenance. Anyone who plans to attend college next year should submit the new FAFSA as soon as possible. The sooner you apply, the more money available to you as a student. The form unlocks federal, state, and school-based financial aid, including federal student loans, need-based grants, work-study programs, and even some scholarships. Some of these aids draws from a limited pool and it's first come, first served basis. Secondly, the official launch date is this Sunday, December 31st of this year. This is the biggest change to the FAFSA form in the past 40 years. It has not been redesigned since the 1980s. The new FAFSA will also be available in 11 languages. So instead of the previous one that was only available in English and Spanish, now we have it in 11 different languages. Isn't that awesome? The form will have fewer questions, some different processes, and a new formula to calculate the financial aid packages, which I will talk more about as we go on this video. The new FAFSA form is very straightforward, shorter, and simplified. It is very important to submit the FAFSA if your kid will be in college next year. Otherwise, your child will be ineligible for federal student aid, including federal student loans, work-study, scholarships, and up to about $7,395 per year in the need-based Pell Grants. The new FAFSA form will pull in your income as parents, your tax information directly from the IRS. If you're a student as well, that you have some work experience, this also is applicable to you if you file your taxes every year. Now, the tax information will be imported directly from the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, through a direct data exchange. Unlike in the previous year, this step is not optional. In the previous years, the older version, we had to key in the data manually going through a bunch of tax documents and other financials. But this time around, the information is going to be imported directly into the new FAFSA form. The parents must consent to the IRS transfer. This step is not optional while you're filling out the FAFSA in order for their students to be eligible for the federal financial aid. We also have a new term called the contributor. The contributor on the new FAFSA form describes this individual as anyone who must provide their financial information on the form. It doesn't mean you're financially responsible for your student's education. They just need your financial information. At least one parent will be considered a contributor along with the student. A step parent can also be a contributor. Each contributor will need a unique username and password combination called a Federal Student Aid ID to access the new FAFSA form. The FSA ID is what it's also called. So you may have to wait up to 3 days between when you request that ID and when you receive it. So submit your FSA ID request on studentaid.gov now, so you're ready to go as soon as the new designed FAFSA form launches on the 31st, this Sunday, live. So, like I said, there's a soft launch currently going on. So you can, if you already have your FSA ID, you can go ahead and start that application. But if you don't have your FSA ID, you want to get that right away before the official launch date, which is set for this Sunday. Another thing to note here is that previously, with the old FAFSA form, students had to sit down with their parents to fill out the form together. Now, parents and students will submit their portions of the FAFSA separately with your own unique FSA IDs. Now, it's very important for parents to fill out their portion of the FAFSA around the same time their child does it, and vice versa. Now, if a parent doesn't submit the parent portion within 45 days of the student submitting his or hers, the said form will expire and the family will have to start the whole process all over again. So please take note of that, is that with the new FAFSA form, it's easier for your kid to get free money. Yes, that's like music to our ears, right? Yes. Now, but the new student aid, with the new federal student aid form, they have a new term called the Student Aid Index, SAI, Student Aid Index. This term is replacing the EFC, which we all know as the expected family contribution, as a measure of the student financial need. As a result, it will be easier for students to qualify for the need-based Pell Grant, which they won't need to repay after leaving college. Free money. So we will have more eligible students for the Pell Grant, and these students who are eligible will get larger grants. According to statistics from the U.S. Department of Education, about 610,000 additional students from low-income backgrounds will get Pell Grants under the new redesigned FAFSA form, and 1.5 million additional students will qualify for the maximum annual award of $7,395. Isn't that awesome? Yes. Now, before the new FAFSA redesigned form, a family's need was calculated using the EFC. Remember? The EFC incorporates your income, assets, family size, the number of children currently enrolled in school, college to be specific. Now, typically, the lower the EFC, the more aid you will be eligible for. The contribution for parents with multiple children in college was divided by the number of children enrolled. This was based on the idea that a parent's ability to pay for college doesn't increase as they have more children enrolled according to the Department of Education. An example from the Department of Education. Now, they say a parent with one child who's dependent on the parent in college full-time could have an EFC of $10,000. When their second child enrolls, that child's EFC would now become $5,000. And if they have a third child, that third child in a family of 3 kids, that third child will have an EFC of $3,333 and so on. Remember, the lower the EFC, the more money eligible, the more aid eligible for that individual, for that kid, the college kid. Now, in today's redesigned FAFSA application, the SAI, which is the new calculation being used to determine this, it does not consider the number of children enrolled in college when determining the parent's contribution. So, for some families, particularly those with incomes and assets between $75,000 and $200,000, the impact of removing the sibling discount could be large. The eligibility for financial aid could be cut by thousands of dollars. So take note of this, as the most critical aspect of this that we need to consider is that there are a few circumstantial FAFSA changes for parents. Please stay close, listen carefully here. When we say circumstantial changes, if you're married, divorced, a widow, all of that, we will cover all of it. Now, the first circumstance we have is if you're married, but you file your tax return as married filed jointly. In this instance, only one parent needs to register as a contributor and fill out the FAFSA. This parent will report information for both parents. Remember, the IRS is importing the information directly now into the new FAFSA form. Now, if you're married but you file your taxes separately from your spouse, stay close now. Both parents will need to register as contributors and fill out the FAFSA independently of each other. I know, more work, but that's the new rule. Now, if you're divorced or legally separated, the parent who provided the most financial support for the student over the last 12 months will be the FAFSA contributor. If this parent is remarried and didn't file their taxes jointly, their spouse will also be a contributor. So they're also eligible to be considered as a contributor. In past years, the FAFSA used the financial information of the parents of whom the child lived with the majority of the time, regardless of whether they provided the most financial support. But all of that is changing now. Now, if you are undocumented, if you don't have a social security number as a parent, there will be a different process for requesting an FSA ID. That process is not yet available. The Education Department says it will be launched alongside with a new redesigned FAFSA form on Sunday, December 31st. If you own a small business or a farm, on the new FAFSA, parents will be required to report the value of any small business or family farm that they own. This could impact student aid packages. If you have multiple kids in college, the sibling discount will disappear starting in 2024-2025 school year. That is no longer applicable. The new FAFSA form will still include a question about how many dependent students, children, how many dependent children you have in college at the same time. But it would not contribute that or factor that into the federal financial aid packages, including the Pell Grant. It will not put that into consideration, but that question is still on the form. But colleges may still use that question to determine their own aid packages as an institution. Students have the option to appeal to the college that they are attending and ask if that second sibling or third sibling does impact what the school wants to offer them in terms of aid packages, financial aid packages. So please, students, make sure you take note of that. Lastly, the new FAFSA will still include a question about how many dependent children you have in college enrolled at the same time. But it won't affect the financial aid packages available to them. And this includes the Pell Grant. But colleges may still use this question and the answer you provide to determine their own aid packages. So students, you all have the option to appeal this to the college that you are attending and ask if that second sibling does impact what the school offers you in terms of financial aid packages as an institution for those colleges. So that's a wrap on today's episode on the new redesigned FAFSA form and what every parent out there should know and to start working on. One thing which is very important is if you don't have an FSA ID and password yet, please go ahead and create one for yourself and your new redesigned FAFSA form, which has been soft launched today, but the official launch is on the 31st of December. We want to hear from you here at IminiWealthTV. What questions, what insights do you have on the newly redesigned FAFSA form? Please drop them in the comment section below, and we'll make sure to answer them each and every time you post something out there. Thank you for tuning in with us today. Until our next segment in Financial Awesomeness, this is lolaowokoniran signing off from IminiWealthTV. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button for more fun and fabulous financial wisdom. Now, stay safe and see you all in the new year. Happy New Year to you and your family. And I look forward to seeing you all in the new year. Bye for now.